Welcome back. We are back with another video. It's going to be episode 56. Today, it's going to be all NBA. We're going to be talking about finally this NBA season is starting tomorrow. So, we're going to be talking about our award predictions, our standing predictions, breakout players. We're going to talk about contenders and pretenders. It's going to be like a general, just brief overview over the season because the season does start tomorrow, opening night. I think it's like the Lakers versus the Nuggets and Suns versus Warriors. Before we even get started, though, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video, comment, and share the video as well. We got our social medias on the top. Make sure y'all subscribe to them. But yeah, we are going to be talking about all the awards today, making our predictions for each one. We're going to be doing MVP, DPOY, Rookie of the Year, all that. I think Jaden is in like a workshop right now, so sadly he couldn't make it. I wanted everybody on here to, especially before the season started, to get all their predictions out. So we have it documented. We know whose agendas we have going into the season. So, but we'll try to get some of his answers on the next episode. But let's get right into it. We're gonna start off with MVP. So NBA season awards predictions. Most valuable player. Who y'all going with?
And I got Luka Doncic. And like when we was talking about the Dallas Mavericks, like I didn't predict them to have a high seed, but I don't think necessarily that matters, especially now when it comes to MVP. Like the last 2 years, they haven't picked a first seed MVP. It's been like a third seed, and then Jokic won it as a sixth seed. Before that, like a couple of years before that, Russ won it as a sixth seed or a fifth seed, whatever he was. I think like if Luka proves like he just puts up the numbers, puts the team on his back, puts up his 38-8 decent efficiency, drags that team basically to the playoffs or like a top four seed, I think he could definitely win it. He's been knocking on the door for like, a while. He's been the favorite or, a top three favorite for a good minute. It just hasn't like really translated, especially like late season. But like I think this is the year to do it, especially like this is a season where between him and Kyrie and the Mavericks, like they're really trying to prove something. So I think like he's like a good bet. The odds, that's good money to make. I don't think like it will go to Joel Embiid again. Left a bad taste in the mouth how they did it. Giannis, he has Dame there now, so they're gonna cancel each other out. Jokic, he could very well win it again because they're not gonna like penalize him no more for I guess winning it and not winning the chip. He got the chip, so he basically proved he's the best player, so he can very well run through it again because it's not like Jamal Murray is like gonna take points away from him because he's not a star in the regular season. Like we know that he's you know above average player, about 19 points per game, so it's gonna still seem like Jokic is carrying the team. So Luka's my bet.
My bet is Jason Tatum. I think that they will steamroll the Eastern Conference. I think they'll be the one seed going into it. First time I think since 2018 or 2017 that Boston will get the one seed, in my opinion. They added more weapons to put around him. I think it takes a lot more pressure off of Tatum, but I think it allows him to be more free and to actually create with better players around him. You space the floor with Porzingis. I think it allows him to be a better offensive player as a whole. I think it's Tatum's been in this conversation. I think starting off last year too, kind of like where is he as a player? Top 10, I'd say. I don't think he jumps up into that top 5 category without playoff success, but I think the regular season, people are expecting this crazy run from Boston, and I think that Jason Tatum's at the start of it. So I'll go with Tatum. I think his odds are plus 650. So I think that's better than Luca's. I'd probably put my money on Tatum.
I think Luke is number two.
Luca's
I'm not
550, yeah.
mistaken.
Unless I updated, the one I just saw was 550 and 650.
My MVP pick is going to be Joel Embiid. I think with all the controversy going around right now, the MVP is a award. The MVP is a narrative based award, and the narrative around the Sixers right now is all this drama around James Harden and Daryl Morey. If he's able to lead this team to a top 4 seed with all this distraction, with all this going around, if you have a historical season, then I think he can be MVP again. I think he can repeat. Yes, it's the narrative like last year he shouldn't have won it. Last year he shouldn't have got it. The playoff success is not there either. So he may get that narrative as well. But if he goes out and has an amazing season, the Sixers are a top 4 seed in the East, and he does it with all this distraction around with James Harden, he's going to have the votes. He's going to have the narrative, and I think he's going to have a case for MVP again. So over the last like 4 or 5 seasons, he had a case finishing as a second or third. option every single year. So I don't see why this would be anything different. I'm gonna give him the slight edge this season because I think he has a narrative for it. Contrary to popular belief, I think Joel B actually has a narrative set there. Like in that year where he had Ben Simmons going for all that time and he was lead him on a 50 win pace, he had a narrative. You got the distraction. You got one of your best players missing. If he goes into the season, especially if Harden doesn't play, and he carries Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris and the rest of the crew to top 4 seed without James Harden, he could definitely have a case for MVP. So that's my pick.
Good enough. I mean, I don't think that's a bad pick. Like if you say it out loud, or like say it on some people like social media, people will laugh at you, but like they're doing that all for like revisionist history and not realizing like they try to make it seem like Joel Embiid is a bad player. He's not a bad player. Like not even the slightest. He's just playoff time. It's just certain things happen. But regular season MVP is a regular season thing. Whatever he does in the regular season, he plays like a top 5 player in the regular season. So he should always be in the running for MVP because he's always going to put up basically 27, 28, 30 points per game, double digit rebounds. He's going to play defense. So like he basically plays all around. Like him, Giannis, they probably hang around the same type of stats. So if one is in the MVP race and another one should, I just think like they're going to try and like hold it against them, even though they shouldn't. Like on some like we gave you a fake one, they shouldn't do that. But like there's always something that's going to push a MVP pick back. Like I always thought like Jokic, I didn't think Jokic was going to win last year just because we don't see 3-time MVPs. Like after 2, and you don't win a chip, they kind of don't do it. Like we seen them do that before. Like Giannis could have very well won 3 in a row, but it was how we gonna have a 3-time MVP but no championship. That's why I feel like Jokic, I feel like that should have been the historical reason not to give it to him. The best player should win every year. We've never seen that before, so I didn't think that should have been the argument this year. It just never happened.
I was thinking about it earlier because we was preparing for this. I was like, dang, do you feel like obviously like he's never made the finals, but I feel like Joel Embiid can have like a Karl Malone-esque like career where in the playoffs they took a bit of a drop where more so it was like Karl Malone closer to the finals, but it's been some playoff rounds where he took drop offs before the finals. Obviously he didn't get there. Like Joel Embiid hasn't got there yet, and he made it past the second round. But they both had 2 MVPs. I think like Embiid can really finish his career with like 2 MVPs, no championships, and is known as a playoff dropper. So is that a crazy like similarity to make, or am I tripping? I don't know.
I think most people. Huh? Go ahead, man.
There you go. I was just like, first of all, I'm not gonna credit to Stockton, but like Karl Malone had like an all-star, all-NBA teammate with him. You know what I'm saying? Like he had Harden this year. Like don't get me wrong, but like Malone actually did make it to the finals. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to see some sort of playoff success, and like I guess the stat. I mean, Karl Malone's what is he 3 in all-time scoring? Right?
Yeah, I mean that's not gonna be there.
That's what I'm saying. Like I mean, it's just like it was extraordinary what he could do to score the basketball. Like I'm not saying like Embiid is this like average player. He's not. But when it comes to like this superstardom of players, right? Like he's a superstar. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see him going out and averaging 30 for 7, 8 more. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he'll be like a great star of our era. But if he doesn't win any rings, that's about like all he'll be. So I don't know if we'll mention him in the same light.
I think like the easier comp would be Patrick Ewing, but Patrick Ewing also did make a finals. But he also had the same. I don't think he dropped in the playoff. He does have a playoff dud with the finger roll to probably to win. I think that was like Game 6 or whatever it was. But like, especially if he goes to the Knicks, that'd be the thing. Like they'll feel like they got their new Patrick Ewing because he's another one. He's basically been on the team basically by himself. Like Patrick Ewing had John Starks, but John Starks ain't John Stockton. You feel me? That'd be the same thing with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid never had John Stockton. He's had Ben Simmons, who's not like a great table setter, for that type of big. James Harden, that was, based off the numbers, that was a good pairing, but he's not gonna have James Harden for long. So it's not like he had the longevity with Stockton. How Karl Malone, they basically played 15 years together, and he was getting spoon fed pick and roll. So of course his numbers are inflated. Joel Embiid really has to go out and get the 30 points per game damn near by himself. And that's why he doesn't shoot like 60%. He's shooting like 53, 54%, like a very good forward because he's taking a lot of difficult type of shots and he's taking them in like, high volume.
When you look at Karl Malone's career though, he was -5 like as far as the shooting percent. It went down a lot in the playoffs. In the first like his first few playoffs like 1986, he lost in the first round. 1987, he lost in the first round. 1988, he lost in the second round. 1989, he lost in the first round. 1990, he lost in the first round. 1991, he lost in the first round.
I think one of those first rounds, I think he lost to second year Hakeem, because Hakeem went to the finals in his second year. I think he had beat Utah, I think, first or second round.
No. He lost to Dallas in his first year.
What was that second year? Because I think
he lost to Portland his second year. His second year, he lost to Portland. His third year, he lost to his second year. Yeah, third year he lost to LA in 7 games, but he still lost in the second round. And his fourth year, he got swept in the first round. In 1990, he got swept. No, he didn't get swept. He lost in the first round. 1991, he lost in the second round. 1992, he lost in the conference finals. 1993, first round. 1994, first round. No, I lied. Second round. I lied. Western Conference Finals. 1995, first round. 1996, that's when he started making the finals and stuff. Yeah. He started making the finals in 90. So he has his some of his playoff careers are like he has a lot of first round, second round exits and a few sweeps. So they're not that much different. It's just that he made the finals towards the end of his career, which we can see that from Joel Embiid. That's still not out of the question for him. We can see him get to the point where he's making finals but losing them. So
it's just, I don't know. I think with how the East is posed right now, like I'd be shocked if we see Embiid making like multiple finals runs. I don't think we see him getting by these teams every other year. So
it might look, I look like different.
He just needs to break. He just needs to break through one time. Like he has to catch Boston and or Milwaukee like at a bad time, or just hope like one of them dip and those two face each other and make the road that much easier.
He had it though. They could have beat Atlanta, and then you face the Bucks. Giannis got injured. Who knows if that'd be the same? But you could have been in that Eastern Conference Finals to play Milwaukee and get a shot at it. Arguably, that was your best year. So
I think his best chance. I think his best chance was this year, actually.
Being up, I guess.
Nah, their best chance was 2019 when they had Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons when Ben Simmons was Ben Simmons, you had Tobias as your fourth and Joel Embiid. They really lost on the last second shot. Mm-hmm. Like it's not like they played a bad series. They didn't play a bad series. They just lost on a. Joel Embiid didn't play that great, but Jimmy Butler was playing great late game, and it was a Game 7 loss. Like last shot.
Would you expect them to beat the Bucks though?
Yeah, I think
they could have beat the Heat. That's what I'm saying. They could have beat the Heat though. They could have beat the Heat. I thought they could
you talking about like the year before last?
Yeah. No, this year they could have beat the Heat.
What, the Sixers?
Yeah. You don't think they could have beat the Heat?
I don't know.
More or less.
They could have beat the Heat. I feel like
Jimmy was hurt. They could have. Yeah. If they found a way to take advantage of that, I think
Miami
they had a great run. I don't think that the talent would just like get through it. Like Bam's a great defender. Like he's a great defender. Obviously, I think Joel Embiid would do it. Like he'd have his way in that series. You just hope James Harden comes along. You hope Tyrese Maxey comes along and does what he do. Because I don't think their third best player is as good as Maxey, and I don't think their fourth best player is as good as Tobias Harris. And Tobias Harris is not like no world beater. So
yeah, with the Heat though, that's not always the case though. About the fourth best player, they thrown out the window. But I don't want to heart too much on that. But let's move on to the next award. We got Defensive Player of the Year. I'll start. Anthony Davis is your Defensive Player of the Year next season. As long as he plays enough game, he will be the best defender in the NBA. We will have the Lakers being a top 5, top 7 defense just off the strength of him at the rim. Like even if they don't have the greatest rim, even if they don't have the greatest perimeter defenders, Anthony Davis at the rim gives you a top 5 defense, and he will be the best defender in the NBA. He is the best defender in the NBA. Anthony Davis will win Defensive Player of the Year if he plays 65 games. That's my take.
I'll go next because I got the same exact name for the same exact reasoning. I see no issue why AD would not win it if they're a top 3 seed. Defense would obviously be sound. So AD is just the anchor on that. He's shown it before. He's never won it. I thought he won once, but never won it before. So as far as voter fatigue, whatever, all that, not worried about it. I do think AD will win it this year, though.
It's going to be Anthony Davis. I feel like he got robbed. Like, I feel like 2020 he got robbed of Defensive Player of the Year and they gave it to Giannis. Same way I feel like LeBron got robbed the MVP and they gave it to Giannis. I feel like this is Anthony Davis here. Like it's a trend to like be like give a like here like damn like you should have won. I'm gonna give it to you now. Like I feel like this is Anthony Davis here. Even like he's gonna deserve it. Obviously, we seen last year he the best defender in the NBA by like a good stretch, like by a good stretch between the back half of last year and the playoffs. Like he was phenomenal, and he's gonna be basically forced to play 65 games to get rid of this narrative, and get a Lakers. They should have a top 4 seed based off him. Like how like you add Rudy Gobert to a team you expect it to be a top 10 defense. Healthy Anthony Davis should be on this team with these wings and enough like team defense scheme. Like they should be a top 5 defense with Anthony Davis. He's going to be an anchor of that. He's going to play 65 plus games. He's going to win the award. Like this is his year. He needs to add that to the belt. He's a big. I feel like to be labeled like one of these like great defenders of bigs. I feel like you need a DPOY unless you're like Tim Duncan. That's different. We know Tim Duncan like who he is defensively, but you just need that badge of honor so people can't just keep slighting Anthony Davis like he don't deserve to be top 75. Like he ain't do much. We know what he could do. And he gonna show you this year.
Yeah, I'm glad we all really in the same mindset with that. I think probably dark horse. I mean not dark horse. Bam's gonna be in contention. Evan Mobley gonna be in contention. Jaren Jackson Jr. will be back in contention. Do you guys see any like possible like wings or guards possibly being in contention for it?
I mean, you think Drew could really get a nod this year with being on that team or no?
No.
Okay, well, sorry for giving an opinion. My fault.
I don't think he's gonna be in it. I think probably maybe like Jalen McDaniels could be in contention for it.
Depends on how good they are. I think also like
definitely.
depends on their team's success a little bit too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's like usual suspects.
I'm trying to think about
Shaq gonna be in contention for it.
Like I was gonna, it might be like biased, but like, would you see anyone else in the Thunder? Like they're pretty like defense.
That's it.
The defensive player of the year.
Only Chet.
No. He said wild guesses.
He's not anybody else in the Thunder.
Outside of
nobody
Chet,
else in the Thunder. Like not even close.
No, outside of Chet, though.
You're really a homer.
Like I don't know, man. When Lou Dort holds up the award, May, don't talk to me, man.
I'm dead. Man, that's really hard for a guard to get it though. But let's move on to Rookie of the Year. Who will be the Rookie of the Year in 2023 and 2024?
Who want to start?
We got the same pick, so I mean it's up to y'all. Well, I know we might all have the same pick because
we might all have the same pick.
We might have the same
pick. Max a hater. He got
yeah. He got Scoop.
I have Scoot Henderson. I was gonna say I'm not gonna jinx it. I'm not gonna say anything crazy. Like I'm not gonna like go all in and then get my heart broken. I'm gonna pick Scoot and I'm gonna go about my day. Scoot, obviously, situation wise, I mean, I guess the Thunder are the best situation right now. But when I look at Scoot and Wemby right now, Portland's got some actual NBA pieces just to play around him. I know you have Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson over there, but if Keldon Johnson gets moved, it's Devin Vassell and Wemby versus a whole NBA team. So with the players and the trades put in piece with Portland, I think Scoot's got the keys to the entire team. I don't know what he's going to average. I think we could be looking at like like 16. I'll say like 16-7, which isn't bad. I want to see him shoot from 3 though. That's the biggest thing this year. I think if he could shoot from 3, that number could go up points wise. His shooting is going to be big, but I think with the pieces around him, I don't think it's crazy to say it. I'm not going to be a straight homer this entire video. I'll be a little different today. But yeah, you guys have both been on this, so I'll give you guys you guys have been on Chet for a while, so that's cool. I'll give you guys a nod.
Yeah, I just like I gotta go with Chet. And it's like I understand Wemby, he's like the unicorn, we never seen it before. Step back threes, the incredible, reach on the blocks, and he could backpack a defense and he whatever. 85, probably like 75% of what you've seen in Wemby clips, you've seen in Chet Holmgren clips for like 6 years between AAU and college basketball, the pro-am before he went down. Like we've seen Chet actually dribble the ball between his legs. We've seen him bring the ball up. We've seen him shoot threes at an efficient clip. I get it. It's not against grown men, but he can only play who he could play. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
I hope you're right.
with the going into a top 10 defense that was missing a rim protector, he's gonna slot right in and do just that. He might not do it like all worldly like Rudy Gobert, but he's gonna do it just enough that this defense might go from top 10 to top 7, 6-5, and he'd be the main point of that. And him offensively, he doesn't have to put up 20 points a game. He can put up a calm 14 and 8 on good efficiency and be a plus defensively. He could basically run away with the award. The only way he's not is like if Wemby or Scoot puts up just like not astronomical numbers, just better numbers than he's doing they would be doing as a number one option.
How many?
I only think he would lose to Scoot because Scoot he might not be efficient, but he might just put up a bunch of numbers. But I think Chet probably plays the whole game. He's been in the NBA system for a year already. Even if it was just rehab, he's been in the system. He's been with the coaches. He's been with the team. So he should basically slot right into the scheme and like perform out the gate.
How many points do you think Chet puts up?
I'd put my money on 15, at least 15. So like 15 and 7, probably give you 2 blocks a game. I'd take that. That's decent numbers, and he's gonna be efficient. A lot of guards come into the league, then you don't look for them to be 47%, 48% from the field. Scoot might just be 40%, but then you're not gonna hold that against him because you know he's a guard. You just want to see him. You know, he might have the highlights, the almost posters like Ja did. You know, so Scoot's a good pick.
Yeah, I think Scoot's a good pick too, but I'm gonna have to go with Chet as well, just for the simple fact we've seen this in NBA history. I think if Chet comes in and is able to contribute to a playoff team, which OKC has a chance to slip in the playoffs, we've seen with Scotty Barnes, we've seen with Ben Simmons, a rookie coming in and contributing to a winning team while also putting up great numbers and having an effect on the defense like that, it's possible that he can win Rookie of the Year. It's possible. Like I think like what
I think it's obviously possible. Like, don't make it seem like it's a dark horse pick.
I think it's dark horse pick. Everybody's
Chet?
Everybody got their money on Wemby and Scoot.
Yeah, they do.
No, I feel like I've seen more Chet.
Wemby has all the hype. Like it's Wemby's award to lose. To be honest,
I feel like the Wemby hype's falling off for Rookie of the Year, though. I feel like people are understanding that Chet's a better choice.
No. Nobody's saying that. I'm not gonna lie.
They love Wemby out here. They love
Wemby. Wemby
literally. I don't know what man. My TikTok is all Chet. I mean,
you gotta be
on TikTok, but
yeah, you gotta go on Twitter, dude. Like, Wemby literally is going. This is his award to lose. He's gonna have all the hype for it. I don't know if he's gonna hit that at a 65 game mark because they're gonna try to like low manage him and protect him for the future.
That's the issue, right? Like,
yeah,
that's what I think the thing would be knocking Wemby. Like, if they just, how like when you put him out there for 45 games, 50 games, and they see what they got in him already. Like once they see what they got, like, all right, we know who he is. We're gonna shut him down so he don't get hurt, and then add a piece in the in the draft so they they get get a lot of young talent. Like I feel like once they know what he is, they don't got to keep playing him, especially if they're losing games. Why keep playing him? Be in the same position in the lottery.
And Scoot's gonna be an integral part of his team, but you also got Freddie Simons there in front of him. Not in front of him, but sharing the team with him. You got DeAndre Ayton. So those are like that's gonna be 2 people taking touches away from Scoot. Shaden Sharp got to get buckets. Jeremy Grant got to get buckets. Like it's a lot of buckets on that team. It's only one ball, so that was kind of crazy. But it's possible that Scoot he will have the numbers. I think he'll average like 16 and 7. But like I said, I think the impact that Chet is going to have on OKC defense is going to move a lot of people. It's going to move me. So I'm picking Chet for Rookie of the Year. I've been having this same take since like July. Since since he's came back in Summer League, I thought he had a chance of winning it. Let's move on to Most Improved Player. I'm gonna start with Max. Most Improved Player. Who's your Most Improved Player?
I have Tyrese Maxey. This is all granted, I feel like, on Harden leaving, but even if he doesn't, I still think he has a chance. But if Harden leaves, someone's got to slide in that next role. Tyrese looked good all last year in that third slot, and he also stepped up a little bit in the playoffs from time to time. But I do think Tyrese Maxey, with the role opening up for him, they need a second scorer. It's kind of like basically his job to lose. I don't think anyone's really thinking that Tobias is going to be that role or whatever. It's really, I think, up to Tyrese to do it. I think his shooting is obviously there. His creation is there. I would like to see some more pick and roll sets maybe, but I think Tyrese Maxey, it's a pretty easy pick. I don't think it's a crazy pick to say at all. So
yeah, that's a good pick. I mean, that should be like the odds-on favorite. I know Mikal. Everybody thinks
I think
Mikal.
Jordan Poole. I think Jordan Poole probably the odds-on favorite with his role and stuff. I think a lot of people. I
It's
think he's
Mikal.
second.
It's
He's second, I
Mikal's.
think.
Yeah, Mikal's first. Jordan Poole.
Oh
Jordan
yeah,
Poole like
Mikal's first.
fourth.
Jordan Poole's second.
But the thing with Poole is like he's just not going to be efficient. He's going to be on a losing team, so it's like you're not going to really look at Jordan Poole like what Tyrese got going for him. He's going to be on a playoff team. He's going to be on a lot more nationally televised games. He's going to be playing with Joel Embiid, so you're going to just see him more. Especially with the Harden thing going now, you know he's going to get the minutes. So that's not a bad pick. I did have him as one of my candidates, but I'm going to go with Cade. This is Cade's third year. If he stays healthy, he stays on the court, I feel like he should be basically putting up all-star adjacent numbers, and that'd be a big jump, especially with this Detroit team that they have a lot of talent, and they got Monty Williams, so he's like a very encouraging coach. I think Cade for a full season will put up enough numbers to make you think like, yeah, he was deserving of the number one pick. I'm really rooting for him. Between him, Ivy, Duran, Asar, like I think they got to make it to like, son, in 2 years from now, it's going to be really scary, and I think it starts this year with him staying on the court and running the show the whole season.
Okay. My most improved player pick is DeAndre Ayton. I feel like in a new environment, on a new team where he wants to play, he's going to have the opportunity to go in there and average 22 and 10, 22 and 12. However crazy you want to get, DeAndre Ayton is going to have the opportunity. He's going to want to be there. So that's my most improved player pick. Is going to be DeAndre Ayton. I don't know if his play going to translate to wins. Probably not. I think they possibly can make a play and push. But like I said, yeah, that's my MIP pick. I've been having that pick for ever since he got traded to the to Portland. Obviously, Cade had the chance to do it. He needs to do it. I need it from him badly. I'm not gonna lie. I need it from him badly. I need that jump. I need that badly. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't know how much it's gonna be. Like just because I still don't like the spacing around him, so I don't think he's gonna be maximized yet in year 3. So it's possible.
That Portland roster is literally like, you know how I feel. Like that Portland roster is not bad to me. I feel like if you add like, obviously they're not looking to add a star, like, but like if you had this same roster and Damian Lillard, I'd feel a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Because you're talking about Jeremy Grant being your fourth option, maybe fifth on the floor. That's cool. That's cool with me. DeAndre Ayton as a fourth option or third, like most times he's third or fourth. He was giving you 17 and 10, basically without no sets ran for him. He was just getting dirty 17 and 10. They're gonna put him in an offense. Like he's gonna be at least the first or second, person to touch the ball on every possession. Like between Scoot, especially in the pick and roll, like some easy offensive sets for him. He's gonna get a bunch of those, a bunch of things at the rim, a bunch of things. Like if he, he's energized. He's gonna play defense. A lot of teams like to reward, like a lot of guards like to reward their big man for playing defense. He run out of court, boom, easy jump offs. Like I think everything is set up for him to get a lot of numbers. It might not, you're right, it might not lead to wins, but it doesn't really matter. You just want him to put up number one pick type numbers, and he can do that if he's the first or second option. He's getting everything.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think some other, people are floating around like Obi Toppin. That is not happening. Obi Toppin is not going to be the MIP. But yeah, it's some, Mikal Bridges. We can see it with his play for the entire season, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to lead to wins. So it's going to take it with a grain of salt. Jordan Poole will not have the efficiency to be the most improved player. He will not have the efficiency at all. So I don't think he's in contention, I guess, but that is because he's gonna have a lot more opportunity. But I don't think his opportunity is gonna lead to efficient play. All right, next award is gonna be Sixth Man of the Year. Who do you guys have for the Sixth Man of the Year?
I ain't gonna lie, and I still don't like the move, but I might have to go with CP3 here. Like if they say he might start. If he does start, it doesn't really matter, but he might start. But a bulk of his minutes might probably be with that bench unit, especially with Kuminga, Moody, maybe Saric. And I think like he has a chance to average like basically still 8 assists off the bench. If he could give you like 12 and 8, 15 and 8 off the bench, that'd be fine for that team. They're gonna be able to run through teams like Chris Paul being your lead guard off the bench. I feel like that gives you extra wins, maybe late game running with him and Steph. That gets you out of a lot of close wins. Close games. So he has, between him and your regular candidates, you might just go with Chris Paul because he's the new guy, the new face on the 6 man, the new old guy that's taking a new role. he had like a whole narrative going for him, especially on the Warriors who should still be able to win games. I don't think they're going to be horrible on the road again. So the 44 games might turn into 56 games, and he might be like a very good reason why, especially if like a Kuminga breaks out, they're going to point to him to be the reason why. He's just going to have everything funneled towards him, especially on the bench.
Amigo, you want to go?
Go ahead.
My pick is Derek White. I'm all in on Boston this year. I've said it before. I said it again. Last year, to be honest, I thought Derek White was better off the bench than Malcolm Brogdon. That's fine. Malcolm Brogdon shot better from three, but Derek White, there was games where he was hitting clutch shot after clutch shot. When Jaylen Brown went out, I think it was, he filled in that role very well. Provides the defense, provides the offense. He will be the first guy off the bench for Boston. I think he's one of the most valuable players on that team right now. They need a guy like Derek White to play. Yeah, I don't know. I think he had a shot at it last year. Now you have Brogdon out of the way. He takes all that role. I think the team's gotten better shooting wise, got better defensively. It's only just going to make him look like a better player. So I think Derek White's an easy pick.
My pick for Sixth Man of the Year is going to be Malik Monk. I think he's going to be able to come off the bench. He was one of the top candidates last year. I think he'll be able to repeat that production. Maybe even go up and take a bit in the second year with Mike Brown's system. But he's such a good bench scorer. I don't think he'll start enough to take himself out of that equation. And I think Chris Paul is a good option for sure. And you said it was Derek White. I think Emmanuel quickly is in a running to repeat. Malcolm Brogdon might be in a running again to repeat, even in his new situation.
Yeah, so, I think Brogdon's going to get – I hesitate from saying Brogdon because I think he'll get traded. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what team's going to – like, I think he'll get moved at some point in time. So, I don't – yeah, I just don't know if that's going to be like Sixth Man of the Year on Portland or on like a traveling team.
Clippers might try to go get him again. Who knows?
Exactly.
He passes, probably going to pass physical this time. All right. Next award up is going to be Coach of the Year. Who do you guys have for Coach of the Year?
I want you to go first.
Me? Right. Or Latif?
Oh, yeah. One of y'all can go first. I'm going to say
I'll go first. My Coach of the Year is Chris Finch. If the Timberwolves
went first.
If the Timberwolves actually get that top 4 seed, like I think they will, he's gonna get a lot of credit for that. And he's gonna be. I think Chris Finch is gonna be Coach of the Year this year. Timberwolves finish at the top 4 seed in the West. That's gonna be good enough for him to do it, especially when a lot of people aren't expecting him to do that. It'll be a surprise to some people, so he'll get a lot of credit for pushing the envelope on this team. So I'll go Chris Finch for Coach of the Year.
Do you just want to say what you got to say, Q, about Chris Finch?
I'm going to say, yeah, same exact reason I had Chris Finch. I had the Timberwolves on my paper as a top 4 seed. Like I said, they have a roster that can just, like the Kings last year, they basically generated a bunch of regular season wins. I think a healthy Timberwolves, second year in, healthy Cat, healthy Rudy, Andy Edwards, freshly paid Jaden McDaniels, Mike Conley. Between that lineup, I think they could go into almost any game and feel like they could just come out with a win just based off their start at 5 talent. Then you still got players like Naz Reid and Kyle Anderson coming off the bench. You got Shake Milton. You still got Nikhil Alexander-Walker. They have a bunch of players, bunch of positions. They can guard. Like everybody basically is a plus defender. Like they could get stops and they could score with the rest of them. They got 2 20-point per game scorers in their lineup. And they don't have the best spacing, but they got enough. As long as Rudy doesn't get in the way too much and Cat stays on the court, they should be fine. And Chris Finch, he's gonna get a lot of looks, especially like if he's not in the play-in again or 7 seed. If he's in that top 4 seed, you definitely give it to him, especially with this and breakout that everybody thinks is gonna happen this year. If all things happen like that, like everything just happens perfectly, he should definitely win the award.
Who was your pick up next, or you haven't got it yet?
I haven't gone yet. Okay. My pick is Frank Vogel. I think Phoenix will be the number 1 seed in the West. I think we'll see Vogel's stamp with their defense this year. I think that my other pick here is Mike Malone. I think whatever team wins the West will be the number 1 guy. Mike Malone hasn't won it yet. And I think the coach of the year award, I feel like is always an award where it's like, oh, this guy hasn't won it. Like, we're going to give it to this guy. So I think Budenholzer had it. Like it always happens with those kind of players. Or those kind of coaches. So I'm thinking Malone's due for one up here in a little bit, especially if it's a mid-year. If the Timberwolves do what they do, I agree. They're this year's Kings. Like, they can make that run. But I do think Frank Vogel, I think they get the 1 seed. I think you look at the team, depth is great. They're shooting. They have a lot of guys. I think that they'll be very efficient, and I think their defense will help out a lot. They got some guys. They got some wing defenders on the bench. I don't know about Nurkic defensively though. That's the only question mark for me. But
He's
overall,
not. I'm gonna say he's not like a defender, but he's
he's just a body.
positionally positionally he'll know where to be. He just gets beat because the players are just better than him. But it's not like he's a cone. You just got to work a little bit. But it's not like he doesn't give a bunch of resistance, but he gives enough that he's just not a baby.
So I think teams will finally I think it happens every couple of years. Frank Vogel was great with Indiana, got let go. He won a championship with the Lakers, then he was the punching bag, got let go. I think he has another good year this year. Eventually gets let go, but I think that he's definitely in the running.
All right, let's get to our Eastern and Western Conference standings. We're gonna do the first, not the first. We're gonna do the top 10 seeds. We're not gonna debate about who is gonna be a lottery team after that because obviously, like the Spurs and the Trailblazers and the Wizards all seem to be in the bottom of the West, and it doesn't even matter what seed they come in, honestly. So we're gonna do the top 10 seeds in each conference. I don't know how we should do this. Maybe we should, start off with a 10 seed. Who do you guys have as a 10 seed in the Eastern Conference, like in that last playing spot? Who do you guys have?
I couldn't decide between Orlando and Detroit. Detroit is more like a favorite pick, but I think Orlando actually has I think the talent is equal, but the roster of Orlando is just slightly better than Detroit because they actually have more shooting. I think both teams need shooters, and Orlando just has slightly more shooters than what Detroit got. And I think Paolo and Franz, they're better than the two best players on Detroit. I think they're bound to make a jump, and they don't have to win a lot more games to get into that plan. Like they was out by 8 games. I think they got 8 games better this year based off player additions and leaks from their two best players.
T, I'll let you go next.
At number 10, I have the Magic. As the last spot in play-in, I think only people who was in here for contention was the Nets and the Raptors, but I think the Raptors are going to be selling by the time the trade deadline comes out because Siakam has not got extended, and they're going to have to move off that contract and lose him in offseason for nothing. So I think this is going to be the year they finally look to rebuild the team, and that's going to start at the trade deadline. So I think they'll get a lot worse from what they are. I'm going to go with the Magic making the jump this season and being a 10 seed in the East.
My 10 seed is the Brooklyn Nets. I think the Magic, as of right now, I think the Magic just miss out. I think they're close. They'll probably be in the running. But as of right now, I know they were scary. Whatever. I know that most of their wins last year were from Kyrie and KD. But I'm still trusting Mikal Bridges right now. I think he makes a little bit of a jump. Not much. I think he just becomes a little more efficient. Becomes the number one guy. I like Cam Johnson a lot still. They have a little bit more proven players right now. I don't think the Magic are at all out of the question. I think they could definitely make a run of the play-in. It all depends, though, on how much their young guys jump up. It's kind of like the Thunder from last year. I think they have the potential to make a little play-in run, but as of right now, I think I'll just keep them on the outside looking in.
Okay, my 9 seed. I'll start with my 9 seed. My 9 seed is a Pacers. I think it's possible that they can make a jump. Honestly, in both conferences, the play-in race is so interchangeable. Where these are going to be so tight. Where I feel like anywhere from 6 and 9 is interchangeable. But I do have I have the Pacers as a 9th seed. Honestly, I think they could easily be the 8th seed or the 7th seed, but I think they'll be in the play-in. I think they have a chance to make the playoffs next season. And the Pacers is a 9th seed.
I also have Indiana. No, I switched it. I had Chicago with an asterisk at 9. It's between Chicago and Toronto based on who sells and who doesn't. Because they both feel like they want to compete this year for reasons I don't understand. But if Chicago goes out and wants to compete for the whole year, I think just based off the talent of the top 3, they can get that 9th seed. Same thing with Toronto. I think they also would get the 9th seed, but that's based on if they don't sell. If they both don't sell, Chicago I think has Toronto by edge.
As of right now, I have Chicago. Like what Q said, if they sell, I think they're easily a lottery team. I don't think they will, though. I think they're way too prideful of their team right now. They should have sold a long time ago if they were. So yeah, as of right now, I got Chicago.
At number 8, I have the Bulls, actually, as an AC. I think with the full year, healthy year of Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan on his last year, his contract will be playing for something if they don't move him. Vucevic is re-signed. I think I'm comfortable going out on a limb with the Bulls as far as the talent they have in their starting lineup with Alex Caruso as well being there. Obviously, I don't know if he wants to be added. Do you want to be added, Jordan? Yeah, I'll add you. All right, so we talking about right now. We're talking about Jesus, you loud. Anyways, we're talking about the Eastern Conference standings right now. So we are at number 8 right now, and I'm talking about the Bulls being the number 8 seed in the East, possibly. What you feel about that?
I would have to go through all the teams in the East. So off the top, that's the Celtics, the Bucks, the Cavs.
The teams we named so far at the 9 seed for me is the Pacers. I think Q had the Bulls or Raptors, and then at the 9 seed the Max had the Pacers as well. So we got the 10 seed. I think all of us agree.
What?
Yeah, Chicago.
I had Chicago at the 9 seed.
Oh, okay.
I did not.
Oh, you want the 9? Oh, you haven't said the Pacers yet.
I mean, in my opinion, it will probably be the Pacers at 8 if we were saying it's between them and the Bulls. I would say it would probably be the Pacers just because. I mean, obviously the Bulls were good defensively last year, but I'm anticipating either one of Zach and DeMar being traded before the trade deadline or by the deadline, just because I've already seen. I think it was, I believe it was Stan Amick who was saying that DeMar, if they were looking to trade DeMar, like probably before the trade deadline. So just for everything that I've seen, it made it seem like, if things don't go well to start the season, as we know that they won't, they're going to blow things up. So I have full anticipation that the Pacers will be better than the Bulls this year.
Okay, and I want to ask you this because you missed this part of the episode too. Who is your MVP pick?
MVP?
Yeah.
I mean, the safe answer is Jokic, but I think, depending on Tatum's, if he can make another jump and just be as consistent as he always, well, not as he always is, but if he can just be as consistent as that, number one scorer, I would say. I mean, he's been it, but we haven't really seen all the playmaking come together. I mean, obviously, when you have Drew Holiday on the team, I mean, it's going to hinder some of that. He's not going to have to take on some of those responsibilities. But in a perfect world, if you see him make a jump and he solidifies himself as an undoubted top 5 player, I think he would for sure be in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, same thing Max said. What about your?
That's a smart choice.
What about your defensive player of the year? That's the only 2 awards we're gonna do.
AD, Anthony Davis.
Okay.
If he, I mean, the way that they talking, I don't know if he's gonna play 65. I doubt it, but if he can play 65, it's undoubtedly him, and he should undoubtedly be All NBA this year. He should have been All NBA last year, but that's a whole other conversation. But if he can play 65 games, at least 70 games, then he will for sure be the defensive player of the year. I just don't see it going to anybody else. I think obviously Jaren Jackson is a great defender, and I'm not going to say he didn't deserve DPOY last year, but I would say a lot of that became as him as a roamer. Obviously, and this year they're going to put him more so on digs in the paint. So I feel like his dominance it will always be there, but it's just not going to be as felt, having, Steven Adams down there, you could roam off him. Without him being down there, and it's Xavier Simpson and who's the other dudes? Who is it? Santi Aldama? Yeah, like no.
Tillman. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no. So I mean, what personally, in my opinion, I think obviously
Bam is the only other dude.
Huh? Go ahead.
I said Bam is the only other dude that I'd
exactly
put in the conversations.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like history shows, it's gonna be a big man most likely that wins it. So either be AD or like you just said, you would be Bam.
Or Mobley. Who's still in
or Mobley if he yeah, right.
All right, so I just wanted to ask you that before we continue. All right, so Max, you said your 9 seed was the Pacers. Your AC, I'm assuming your AC is the Pacers. I'm assuming
the Pacers.
Is your AC the Pacers?
My AC is the Atlanta Hawks.
It's a little.
That's blasphemous. Blasphemous.
That's a little low,
That's
to be
blasphemous.
honest.
That's blasphemous.
You said
Wait,
Seattle?
do you
No,
have
no.
Indiana in the 10 though?
Huh?
Do you have Indiana in the 10?
Oh, you don't?
Wait, sorry. In my top 10?
Yeah.
Yes, like
Oh
in the
yeah.
plan.
Sorry.
Okay. So he's
All right,
saying
we gonna get to that. We gonna get to
I know.
that.
He is saying right now.
Aren't you the Halliburton hater? You don't like Tyrese?
Who, me?
Yeah, Q.
It's not that I don't like
It's okay.
Tyrese.
You don't have to like put it politely. If you don't like him, just say that. It's all good, man.
I think his playmaking is a little like it's not like he's a bad playmaker. I just think it's overstated because of the number. Like I seen like a bunch of stats like it came out like he didn't necessarily generate open shots for his teammates. He just like they were just already open. He gave it to them. They shot the ball and they made it. Like I don't like those type of like assists like don't really like it's like defenses in the NFL like they don't always translate to the next year. Like you're either gonna be hot or you're gonna be cold. They just happen to make them. He's not like a great one-on-one player. Like he doesn't sit there and break a defense down. Like he doesn't have a bunch of self-creation. Like it, I think it's just overblown because of the numbers instead of like the actual play. But it's not like he's a bad player.
I want to ask you this, Max. What about the Pacers screams to you that they're going to be better than the Atlanta Hawks?
We talked about this in the offseason. I love their draft. I like them getting shooting for Ben Shepherd off the bench. I love the Jarris Walker pick. They have defense in the front court. You get Bruce Brown, who's looked good so far defensively. I think Tyrese Halliburton takes a step up. Averaged 20 points last year. I think that jumps. He has more weapons now to pass the ball around. You get a full healthy season of Ben McMathurin, who was in the Rookie of the Year conversation last year before he got injured, which we don't talk about that much. But I think this team is very good. I guess if you trade, this team could be a seller at the trade deadline with Buddy Hield and stuff. But I do like this team a lot. I think this is a sneaky team. I don't think they're Sacramento level to make a crazy like whatever look good. But I think in the East, I think they could definitely sneak above Brooklyn, Chicago, and Atlanta. I don't know. I'm still confused with Atlanta, but I like Indiana a lot.
I'd be willing to bet you about $50 that the Hawks could be better than the Pacers next season. You get
well. That's actually good because you're more confident with Jalen Green not being an all-star.
Let me. Okay, listen, because this is the second year Quinn Snyder, his system. You've seen so far in preseason that Trey is committed to coming off ball. DeJounte Murray is going to have a good second season. He was good last year and good in the playoffs. And then you got Big O, who's probably going to be in the starting lineup this season. It's probably going to be an upgrade in the grand scheme of things over Capella. I can see improvements from AJ Griffin, Jalen Johnson. Then I think they have a better roster. You got DeAndre Hunter. They have a better roster. They do. DeAndre Hunter off the bench, if he comes off the bench, or he's gonna be in the starting lineup, who knows? Bogdan is also still on the roster. They have the better coach. They have better best. Trae Young is better than Tyrese Halliburton. DeJounte Murray
is better than their
if you take the three best players on all three teams, I mean,
you could take the best three. You could take the best five. You could probably take the best. You could take like the best in Atlanta clears. Like Ben Mathurin, cool. Ben Mathurin ain't better than Bogdan, and Bogdan is like 18 off the bench. He ain't better than DeAndre Hunter either. Clinton, Miles Turner is like better offensively, but the defensive aspect is pretty much almost the same. Like you could give Miles Turner the edge; it doesn't really matter.
Miles Turner better than Clinton.
Sadiq Bey was almost a bum, but he's put up points. DeJounte Murray was an all-star before, and he's the best. Like he's a better defender than pretty much anybody on the Indiana right now. You know what I'm saying? Like
I just think that like y'all are saying,
he's a rookie. He can come in and he's going to be better than Ben Shepherd based off just draft position.
Obviously, he's going to be better than Ben Shepherd. Ben Shepherd's going to play an NBA game. I think he's like
the Hawks roster is just much better than
him. I'm not trying to say like whatever, but like that's all fine and dandy. But like I think this team is like a good team-oriented thing. I think that with the additions, it allows Tyrese to play better. I don't think he'll play better than Trae Young. I do think Trae Young's a better point guard. I'm not going to deny that. I got them finishing 7 and 8, so they're close. Maybe this is wrong, but I think they'll at least finish closer. I think the top 6 is the top 6. I think there's a top 6 in the East, and I think there's everybody else. I think Atlanta and Indiana are on the outside, but the top 6, like, I mean, unless you pick someone to go over it, I think the top 6 are pretty stacked, and I think these last 4 teams are kind of like you can go with you want. And I
Are
do.
we putting the Nets in the top 6?
Huh?
No.
we
Nets
putting
are
Nets in the
not.
top
The Nets are not even in the play-in for none of us really. I think. Oh well, besides Matt, he hasn't been playing.
Yeah, he had him at 10. He had him at 10.
Y'all got some
The Nets.
takes over there.
The Nets aren't.
JD.
The Nets aren't a good
They
basketball
made
team.
the playoffs.
I understand because of KD and Kyrie. Yes, I do
Yeah, they
understand.
made the playoffs like that.
They were second
I
seed,
think Mikhail's good. I think some people who doesn't Latif, you don't like him?
I didn't say nothing about Mikhail. I mean,
No, one of y'all like don't.
That's Q.
Is it
Let's
Q
keep talking about
again?
Q.
Whoa.
On everybody needs
Whoa.
to go.
Hold up. I was an avid Suns watcher on purpose because I like Devin Booker, I like Mikal Bridges, I like DeAndre Ayton. I like Mikal Bridges for in the role that he is. He's not a better player than he was a year ago. And he's not a better player than he was 2 years ago. It's just opportunity has allowed him to inflate the numbers to where they are. And even the numbers inflated, it didn't mean much. His 25 points per game for the Nets weren't a meaningful 25 points per game because his scoring doesn't impact the game. He's also not a great playmaker, so he can't impact the game that well on that end either. Defensively, he's taking a drop off defensively on the Nets because he has to score, but his scoring doesn't really mean much to the team. They played below 500 basketball as the Mikal Bridges Nets, and they ain't add no real pieces that increase the roster on that. Like the 2 major additions were basically draft picks. Like they didn't really do much, and if they're gonna play like a below 500 team, they're gonna be a below 500 team. That's all I'm saying. Unless Mikal comes out and he averages 28, 6 and 5, but I doubt that's gonna happen. And he's 27, 28. He's not gonna get much better than what he already is. Like
so
I think
the Nets can be better than the Bulls this year.
I think I put the Bulls in Toronto. They're like an asterisk for me. If they sell, they're obviously
not going to be better than the Bulls. The Nets are not going to be better.
If they sell, they're going to be bad. If they don't sell, Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan can be better than whatever Mikal or Cam Johnson give you, or Mikal and Spencer Dinwiddie, or Mikal and DFS. Whoever you put in next, that second best player, you don't even know because it's a bunch of
DFS. I'm sorry, DFS is kind of crazy.
Why haven't you? No, but you haven't said a key name on this team.
Cam Johnson is the second best player on the
They have an All NBA player on the roster. What do y'all think?
This could be
Ben Simmons. He's talking about Ben Simmons.
I love
not good either. Everybody's saying
I love that. I don't think
actually. Now that you say that, I'm surprised Latif didn't pick him.
All right, they're not gonna be a good team. But I mean, who knows? All right, so let's get the top 6. Well, not top 6. Number 7, I got the Hawks, but I think he has Pacers, right? Mike says the Pacers.
Cool. So you have the Hawks.
I have the Hawks. I have the Hawks in my top 6.
At 7?
Yeah.
At 7, I got Miami.
I had them falling, but not that much.
That's what Miami at 6.
I got Miami at 6. I got Miami at 6. I got Miami at 6.
Miami was 7 last year.
No,
they were 8
last year. 2 years ago they were 1 seed. My fault. 2 years ago.
2 years ago they were 1 seed, and the year before that, the year after that they were the 5th seed. So this is not like a normal thing for them.
They were the 8th seed last year, right?
Weren't they the 7th seed?
They were the 7th seed. They were the 7th seed before the play-in.
Yeah.
They were the 7th seed before the play-in.
But that's we ended up being the 8th.
They literally the year before that was
no. When they got swept by the Bucks, they were the 7th seed, weren't they?
No, they were the 5th seed. They were the 5th seed.
This is so confusing.
They were the 5th seed.
They were the 4th seed when they went to the finals that year.
The Bucks were the 1st seed
when they won the chip. They were like the 1st or 2nd seed, right?
Who, Miami?
Miami was the 5th seed. Miami was the 5th seed.
Oh.
When the Bucks won the chip, I got it up here. The Bucks won it in 2018-19.
No, they won it in 2021.
2021.
What are you talking about?
That's the Raptors year. The Bucks were the 3 seed.
Miami was 6.
The 6 seed. Okay.
Yeah, Miami's a 6.
Okay,
yeah,
I knew it was something like that.
They lost to Atlanta. They could if they would have beat Atlanta, they would have been the 7th seed.
Oh, because Philly was the 1 seed that year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they played. Yeah. Because the Bucks played Brooklyn.
I just don't think Miami added whatever they lost. I think they just got back. I think their roster just remained the same.
They lost
because they brought in 2 players that really replaced what they lost. Like Jimmy he's not like a regular season. He's basically trying to ramp up for the playoffs and save all his energy because he's gonna have to carry the roster between him and Bam. So they're not gonna coast, but they're not gonna play like high level basketball the whole year. I don't think so. They just don't have like the pieces. Like if they had that offensive star that they was trying to go get, then it'd be a lot different. Like if they had a Dame, if they had a Donovan Mitchell or something like that, to just take the offense and just they do offense and let Jimmy coach through the season, let Bam coach through the season to the playoffs, then they might have had a different seed. But I think since they basically stayed complacent, seventh should be good around there, especially since the top four for me is pretty solidified. There's just a lot of jumble in between 6 and 10.
I'm gonna run through these top 6 and let me know what y'all disagree with. So I know Q got Miami at 7, but I got the Heat at 6. On my standings, I got the Heat 6, Sixers 5, Knicks 4, Cavs 3, Bucks 2, and Celtics 1.
I think the only one I'm looking at is the Sixers and Knicks. I think could switch, but I'm fine having the Knicks 4.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks, it's that could switch, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I still got Sixers at the 3rd seed. I still think they will be 3rd seed.
Even if James Harden don't play?
Yeah. I think Joel Embiid is still the best. After that, Joel Embiid is the best player between all the teams. I think him just being the best player by a stretch and just carry that the rest of the roster between the Knicks, Cavs, and Atlanta, who I got at 6. I think he'll just regular season, they'll just run through wins. I don't think it's hard to place I don't think it's hard to win games in the East if you got Joel Embiid. 3rd seed is pretty almost consensus for them. 3rd, 4, 2, whatever. I think they stay right where they at.
Well, you JD, do you got anything different what I said? If you need me to say again, I can.
My bad, please. Yeah, my bad. I'm
at 6, I got the Heat.
While I work. Okay, go ahead.
At 5, I got the Sixers. At 4, I have the Knicks. At 3, I have the Cavaliers. At 2, I have the Bucks, and at 1, I got the Celtics.
So you don't think Maxey is the number 2? Because I mean, personally, I know everybody's been saying Maxey is the number 2, could be an MIP player. Don't know if that could happen, but you don't think regular season Sixers, even without Harden, or if they trade Harden and get something in return, aren't better than regular season Miami?
I have them over to Miami. I have the Sixers at 5. I mean, yeah.
No, he at 6.
He at 6. Sixers at 5.
Okay, that's fair. I probably would have in my top 6. I probably have Celtics 1, Bucks 2. I probably would keep the Sixers at 3. Probably the Cavs at 4. I have the Hawks at 6. My bad. I know I'm going backwards, but okay. My bad. I'm trying to. Okay. I got Celtics 1, Bucks 2, Sixers 3, Cavs 4, Knicks at 5, and then Hawks 6. I have the Heat at 7 personally. They're my play-in, and then the Pacers at 8.
Yeah, that's crazy to say.
Yeah, we got the same list.
You saying you agree, Miku?
Yeah, we got the same list except for the Knicks and the Cavs. I think that's the only thing that switches.
Yeah, depending on if Mobley can take, because it's really I'm not gonna say it's a make or break year. It's only his 3rd year, but for the Cavs, I would say it's like a make or break year, especially with Mitchell on contract and whatnot.
That Cavs situation, it's like a lot of it. I don't think they need to make the ECF this year, but I think they have to show something because a lot of money is going to be a main factor for them between Donovan Mitchell most likely not signing or signing, and Evan Mobley having to get a contract. Darius Garland, I think he already got paid.
He did.
So his deal is going to look better a little bit later, but I think if they know Donovan Mitchell's not going to get paid, let's see what he's not going to say. Let's see what Evan could do, and let's see what he is, and let's see if we could get off of Donovan early and try to bring in some assets. I still think Miami has a chance to go get Donovan.
I think the odd man. I don't think it's Donovan. I think the odd man out is Jared Allen, just because one.
Jared Allen, I expect him to be gone anyway. I expect him to be gone anyway because I think you need it to have Evan at the 5, even though he's not the biggest. So I think they just might as well just run him at the 5, try to get in a floor spacing / defending wing at the 4. I know we seen who was it that had the package that they thought it was Jeremy Grant going to the Cavs, being a 2-way wing.
Mm-hmm.
They just that's still they upgraded wing, but I still think that's a position that you need a real forward, a 6'8", 6'9" guy that could shoot threes, space the floor, and still defend. This is like money is just the issue with the Cavs. I mean, I don't really need them to be an ECF team. I just need them to understand what they have and then try to attack the next upcoming years because they're still young. By the time like Boston not really gonna come down because their best players are still like just touched their prime or not even technically in it yet. But between the Sixers and Milwaukee, they'll come down and that'll leave spots for two other teams to jump in. And I think the Cavs are right there to try and sneak into that.
Yeah. All right, let's move into our Western Conference standings. We're gonna do the same thing. Start off with 10. Now, this conference is we're not gonna get into a lot of debates about this because listen, this conference is gonna be insane, and I don't want to argue about the playing teams too much just because it's so interchangeable at this point. Especially like we saw last season. But for me personally, at number 10, I have the Thunder as my 10 seed. I think last year they were 10 seed last year. Obviously, Chet. This is like trying to be realistic. Obviously, they can be like a playoff team. I feel like they can be from anywhere between 7 and 10. But the West is it's so deep, and I think other teams have better rosters. Maybe it's some teams have injury concerns, which they really don't. The Thunder really don't. If they can stay healthy, I think they can be a higher seed. That's obviously I think a possibility. But as far as the roster outlooks, I feel like they don't have a lot better rosters than a lot of these teams. Who you guys have as your 10 seed in the West?
Go ahead, Ken.
I got OKC for the same reasons, and that's just like assuming everything goes perfect. Like if the Clippers are healthy basically the whole year, they should be ahead of them. If the Pelicans are healthy the whole year, they also should be ahead of them. So like you said, the 7 through 10, it's not like the win totals are not going to be like the 7th seed got 48 wins and the 10th seed got 36. I think it's going to be like between 4 games in each, like between each of them. So like it's the injuries and stuff like that that'll make or break. Like if the OKC Thunder land 10th or they land 7th on those last like 10 games, really trying to fight the season. So they could end up 7th, they could end up 8th, they could end up 9 or 10. But I just got them as 10 if everything just goes perfect, like perfect for everybody, like even playing field. They're probably the 10th best roster in the league. Like they do have a top 15 to play, but they don't have there's a drop off after that between everybody else on the roster. But they still could get like 44 wins and get right in that 10 seed.
For me, if I'm being honest, I think that's a little obviously it's not low, but the 10 seed. Probably you like the Grizzlies. I think that the Thunder would be better than the Grizzlies this year, personally. Especially obviously John is out for 25 games. Then they announced today Steven Adams he has knee issues, knee surgery. He's going to be out for the year. And some of the reasons that I just said defensively, I just don't think that they can replicate everything that they did last year. Yeah, you get Marcus Smart, but that can only do so much when you can only put so much pressure on your guys. On the perimeter. And Marcus Smart took a bit of he regressed a little bit defensively last year. So, but yeah, I think the Thunder will be better than the Grizzlies this year. So off rip, I'm just gonna probably put the Thunder, not the Thunder. I'm probably gonna put the Grizzlies at 10 for me.
At number 9, that's why I have the Grizzlies. I think they're gonna be a play-in team. I think they'll be about 10 and 15. Or it's like close to like 11 and 14 until Ja come back. But one thing they do have going for them is Taylor. What's his name? Taylor Jenkins is a great regular season coach. That's what they have going for them. They're also going to be a great defense. With the addition of Marcus Smart in the lineup without Ja Morant is going to be a great defense. Where I have my issues with the Grizzlies, with Ja Morant, they were already a bad half-court offense. Marcus Smart does not help that, and losing Tyus Jones also makes it worse. They don't have a table setter to set up the offense in the offense without Tyus Jones and without Ja Morant for 25 games. Also, their big depth is lacking right now. Steven Adams is out for the season. I like Xavier Tillman, what he can be able to do for them. I do not trust Triple J to be the starting center for a 82-game regular season. I don't think he'll be able to rebound well enough, and I think they're probably gonna still running the same system where Xavier Tillman is probably guarding the best center, and then Triple J is helping, which I think can still work. But I don't like that guard depth either without Ja Morant. I don't think Derrick Rose does move me. Like I said, so those are major concerns for them. Personally, I think they'll probably have a chance to make the playoffs when Ja comes back for sure. But if they start off too slow, it might get dark early. I think they need to make a trade for Robert Williams yesterday, or Clint Capella. That's what I find the Grizzlies need to do. And I feel a little bit better about their chances to make the playoffs this year. Who's your ninth seed, Q?
I don't just name it. I don't like the Pelicans, but like I gotta believe like they gotta be healthy at least 1 year. And if it's this year, like it should be this year, especially in this packed ass Western Conference. I feel like if you could get 60 games out of Brandon Ingram and Zion, they should be able to like either or like basically get this team to at least a ninth seed. Like I don't think their roster and them allow them to be higher than that unless everybody like in front of them gets injured. But like ninth seed, like that's probably where they should be. And this is gonna be the year where they realize like this is probably going to be their cap because I don't think they go any higher than this. I think like this is probably their best season. And that's it. Like they'll fight to get into a play-in or into the playoffs and still lose the first round no matter what happens.
I'm gonna just say it. I don't got them in. I'm not gonna be talking about the Pelicans today. They're my 11th seed.
That's what I was just about to ask you.
I don't have Memphis on my thing. I kicked out Memphis for OKC.
So
I would never. I would never believe in the Pelicans injuries ever until I see it. I would never be big on that. For Zion, we've seen it one season.
Do you have the Clippers on your list?
I do, but you know what? The Clippers though, the Clippers can still compete when their two stars are out. So I have more faith in them. They have Tyronn Lue, who's a much better coach than them. And like I said, their team, even without even without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, is just better than the Pelicans. The Pelicans, like we talked about yesterday in the episode that is not getting released, but we talked about it. The Pelicans roster is not great. I don't like their depth at all.
The Pelicans roster without Brandon Ingram and Zion, and the Clippers roster without Kawhi and Paul George is like pretty comparable.
It is true, but
the only difference is the two stars. Like the two stars
at that point, we got to talk about coaching.
Yeah, coaching. Tyronn Lue's better than you. Obviously, go Lue.
Tyronn Lue.
He's like a top 7 coach.
Norman Powell can step up, and when he needs to, we got Bones Highland there.
You saying that like Norman Powell's not that much better than CJ McCollum. CJ's a bum, but he's not like a bum.
Yeah, they're on the same level. They're on the same level player. CJ McCollum and Norman Powell are the same level player.
CJ McCollum is better than Norman Powell.
I'm like, you saying that Norman Powell just cleared CJ like this?
Oh, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that.
That's what I said right here.
But also Russell Westbrook, as much as I get on him, he's still there.
With hindsight, I would like to take back what I said. The only reason I just asked is I'm like, let me actually look at last year's standings. And I'm like, damn, one of these 11 teams isn't going to make it. And unfortunately, the Grizzlies, I agree, will not be in the play-in. They will be the 11th seed. And then let me replace that. So now I have the Thunder at 10. And if I'm being honest, I would probably say that out of all these teams, the Pelicans will be 9. What am I doing? I don't know why I took that time.
Exactly.
If Zion is, even if Zion is healthy, obviously they peaked out at the 1 seed last year. But, if Zion is healthy, and I personally think when Trey Murphy comes back, I think he's a huge piece to this team, especially his. Let me not say emergence, but he could. I think especially for what they need. They need a 3-and-D guy, obviously, who can come in between Zion or even with Zion on the floor, and even in small ball situations, if you want to put Zion at the 5, obviously it's going to be Swiss cheese at the rim, but I feel like he has the length to be able to roam. We haven't seen it yet, but I'm anticipating him to make a defensive leap from where he was last year. I'm not saying he's going to be no lockdown. Trey Murphy? I'm not saying he's a lock or anything. I'm just saying, like, I think, in certain situations, he's the glue guy that they need to step up. And, especially, like I said, in situations. And he did somewhat last year, play much better than he did his rookie year. It's just about this next week that he's going to take. So personally, I just have the Pelicans. Either way, I have them at 9. Even with all the injury concerns. I'm sure Zion and Bi will both be in another lineup. So, give me Pelicans at 9.
Yeah, I think the Grizzlies they're just fighting against too much. Like they just fighting against too much. It's 25 years without your best player. I already think they're going 10-25. You may think that it's like a good hole to climb. If this was last year, sure, you got Tyus Jones, the table setter, you got Steven Adams, arguably would have still been there, whatever. They still got the roster, everything fine. Marcus Smart is not the table setter, mold, so he's not gonna give you what Tyus Jones was providing. He does offer defense, but he doesn't offer the offense of playmaking that Tyus Jones is. Like, we don't need Marcus Smart to drop 25. We need him to set everybody else up, but he's not really the best at that. Like for in the system, he Rose. I don't really think he's about to play 25 minutes a night. Shoulder to load. Jaren Jackson, I think he don't get exposed, but like it'd be harder for him to replicate what he did last year because he's not going to be able to roam. He's going to basically be an anchor, and I don't think he's going to be the best anchor. I think the defense will take a hit. By the time y'all get back, they're just going to be too deep in the hole in this crowded West. It's like you got to use this year as a gap year, like whatever. They got dealt the cards. They played them. Everybody's not going to be good every year. Things are going to happen that's going to make this team, make teams like not perform to standard. This is just the year. Like nothing. If this is a bad season for the Grizzlies, we already know why. It's something that happened before the season. It's not anything they went into the season and did wrong. It's just they came into the season basically behind the 8 ball by a lot. That's why they haven't making it. Like they're gonna claw, they're gonna try. They're just gonna fall just short.
All right, so at 9, I have the Grizzlies. I don't know if I said that. At number 8, I have the Clippers. They had the injury history. I think they'll be a compete, even if they have injuries. But they were like the 5th seed last year. Like I said, a lot is interchangeable, so I don't want people to get hung up on the placement. But the West is wild, so I'm gonna put the Clippers at 8.
The same thing. I got them at 8 for the same reason. Like it's always gonna be an injury thing. I just don't expect both of them to be out. If one is out, they still have the roster and the coaching enough to like pretty much drag them to a system. I think all the other teams are always gonna basically have their 2 stars. They're not always gonna like injury riddled. And for like a team like the Suns who has 3, one could go down. They still got 2 other stars that can carry the load. I just don't think like barring a James Harden trade, the Clippers they're going to be where they at, right in the middle of the pack, just based off injury history.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm assuming, and I do think eventually Harden will get traded there. I don't know if it'll be, this week or next week or in a month, but I do think eventually he will be traded there. And if he does, I don't have him at 8. I have them, closer to in the actual playoffs. But for now, I'll put the Clippers at 8.
At number 7, I have the Mavericks. They could arguably be higher, but they're relying on a lot of rookies. Not a lot, a few rookies to come in and a few young players to have big roles and step up. Relying on Jalen Hardy to give you something this year. Relying on Josh Green to keep stepping up. Derek Lively to be a contributing member of the team. Omax, all that. I don't know how good their defense is going to be. I don't think it's going to be very good, honestly. To be honest, I don't think Derek Lively is that type of rim protector where he can come in and change the entire, strength of your defense. Not his rookie season though. I think they're gonna still have some issues with that. They did get Grant Williams, who's a good defensive player. I wish they would have got Matisse Thybulle, but they didn't. So Luka and Kyrie would be great. I don't think they're gonna miss the playoffs again. But you got to think about it. Last year, they were the 5th seed. I think the West got better. I think their rebounding and their defense, their perimeter defense is going to be an issue. Also, their front court depth is not really great at this point in the year. So I have the Mavericks at 7.
I also got them at 7. I just think this is going to be backpacked by like an amazing backcourt duo between Luka and Kyrie, and I think they're just going to have to ride those two and into wins. Like we seen them last year. That thing, 2 games against the Kings. They had a bad defense, obviously, but 2 games against the Kings, Luka and Kyrie basically got them to wins or near wins in OT and double OT, like basically dropping like 35 plus a piece. I think you're going to see every other night one or both are going to be dropping 30 a night just to keep them afloat. Because after that, it's a drop on offense, and like they don't have the defenders like that they did, the year before. Like DFS wasn't this huge piece, but DFS on that team, he was clearly very important because without him, their defense dropped off a lot. You seen once they traded him, but just strictly on offense and Luka being a generational talent, he should be able to drag him into a playoff and possibly a playoff.
Yeah. I also agree. Mavericks at 7. I'm a Jaden Hardy believer though. I think
I
he
also
can.
am.
I think he can make that jump into double-digit scoring in his third year. Uh, yeah, I think he can make that jump into double-digit scoring. Kind of be like a feeling like a six-man role for them. I think Grant Williams, like you're saying, Q can, in my opinion, can fit in. I mean, we have to see him under more late game reps, but I've seen him do it in the postseason. I think he can fill in that Dorian Finney-Smith role to an extent. Um, and especially for this team, like I agree with what you're saying all about their big man depth, their front court depth. But that has never been a problem for them, even in the past, in their past few playoff runs. So I'm not going to hold that against them as much. I mean, we're talking about a team if they're playing, if they can get the ball rolling quick, if Luka and Kyrie can, and like I said, Hardy, if Seth Curry, a few other shooters, and like just in general places around where this offense can be very lethal. But if I'm being safe, 7 seed would be for them. I think their ceiling probably could end up being like the 5th seed.
All right. At number 6, I have the Warriors. I think they're going to be taking the regular season very, very seriously. I think this will be one of the best offenses in the NBA. Now, I think their defense is. I don't think Draymond's going to be able to save it this year. Personally, I feel like their point of attack defense at the guard spots is not going to be good enough at all. They're going to be when opposing guards are going against the Warriors, they're going to eat. It's going to be very hard to hide Stephen Curry and Chris Paul in a defense lineup. Obviously, Andrew Wiggins is still going to be a good perimeter defender. Draymond can come out to the perimeter. But Kevin Looney is a good defender. But like I said, I think the problem is going to be rebounding. I think their problem is going to be defense. They're going to foul a lot. Like last year, they fouled a lot. They'll probably foul more this year. They took a hit to the rim pressure with losing Jordan Poole and Chris Paul does not alleviate that. But I think, as we've seen in the preseason a little bit, having Curry more off ball where he's more lethal and having someone that can set him up like that with Chris Paul being there and then him being able to help the bench unit as well is going to be beneficial for them. So I'm expecting them to take the regular season a little bit more seriously so they get in a position where they can, have an easier matchup in the playoffs come playoff time. The thing is now, though, the West is a lot harder. So if they get back to 6 seed, they're going to have to mess around, see the Suns first round, and they will be going home. They have to see them. So I think this team is a first round exit or a second round exit. In the grand scheme of things, though, I think this team is a 6 seed.
Yeah,
Could be lower.
I utter the same points about the Warriors. I believe in like Steph Curry a little bit more, especially in like when he's like the on ball guy. Like he's not gonna be on ball. Obviously, you got Chris Paul. You should have a lot of him just running those screens, save him for the playoffs, save his his energy and stuff like that. I got the Kings at that 6 seed because like you said, the West got a lot better. They didn't. They pretty much stayed the same. Like they literally stayed the same. Damn near. They stay complacent, and I think like they won't catch teams off guard this year. But they still have enough to get wins and be healthy. They don't have like no real health issues. Sabonis basically played with a broken hand like 60% of the season. So that should be healed up. Like, I think they have enough that they could still win about 45, maybe 48 games and get that 6 seed. I just don't think they're going to get higher than that because now everybody understands what they are, who they are. Specifically the Warriors. Like I have the Warriors one spot ahead just because I think they're slightly better of a team, as a whole, especially like just Steph Curry having the top 5 player in the lineup makes them that much
a better team than who?
The Warriors are better than the Kings.
Okay, yeah, and that's where I'm going with it. That's where I'm going with it. Me personally, I have the Kings at 6. I think obviously offensively, we know what they can provide. We know defensively. I don't expect them to be have as dominant as a regular season as they did last year. Now that might look differently, obviously, because again the West has gotten better, and just the talent all across the league has gotten better. Don't get me wrong, this is a really, really good team and a really great regular season team. You know, they can be as high as they were last year in 3, depending on, the health of the teams around them. But if we're just projecting like in general, I think that they'll be the 6th seed, and I agree. But they're just not better than the Warriors. I would take. I mean, and then also last year, like, you got to remember, like, Wiggins was out for over half the year with the personal stuff he had going on. Draymond missed some time with injury. Steph missed some time with injury, and I'm not saying that all won't happen again. But if I'm assuming that Wiggins is going to be there for majority of the season, like he was last time, if he was an All-Star, I'm not saying that's going to happen again. But if Wiggins is there for most of the season, I just don't expect them to take the drop defensively that they did, and as well offensively they did. And then, not to mention Kuminga, the emergence that it looks like he's about to have, the way that he's playing in the preseason, I just feel like, altogether, that the Warriors are just a better basketball team than the Kings. And I have to put my money on it. I think the Warriors will finish with a higher ranking than the Kings as well.
I'm going to go.
Your point, though.
I'm going to go with my 5th seed. I'm going to go with the Kings. Now, I think they took a drop off from last season. Last season, they were the most healthiest team in the NBA. And they were the best fourth quarter team in the NBA as well, being led by De'Aaron Fox having one of the best, clutch time season last season. So will he be able to repeat that? Would the Kings be able to repeat that, being the best fourth quarter team in the NBA? I don't know. I don't know if they can continue being the healthiest team in the NBA. I don't know. But I think in the regular season, they'll be a better basketball team than the Warriors. I don't know where y'all getting that from. Last year, they were just better than them. I think they have less injury concerns than what the Warriors have. And I'm more like, at this point, I think Stephen Curry's going to miss about 15 to 20 games every season.
Last year, the Warriors basically lost every road game.
That's true.
That's like pretty much the
That's also, that is true. I forgot about that.
If you think they're gonna lose every road game, like they basically lost 90% of their road games last year. If you think again, cool, whatever. The Kings are better, but they, even make that 500, they're like a 50-win team. I'm not saying they're a 50-win team, but I think nobody's gonna get caught off guard by the Kings again. And they know the Warriors themselves, they got out that series basically off the back of Steph Curry and not really nobody else. Wiggins that just got back. Wiggins is basically going to be there the whole time. Steph is going to be there. Even if he doesn't miss 20 games, they can kind of sustain that, especially if they start off hot enough. I just think the Warriors, like, just based on pedigree, they're not going to the season like laissez-faire. I don't think they're going to have the road struggle with them. Even if they have the injuries, they'll probably be able to deal with the injuries in spot moments, especially if you got Chris Paul. Like, if Steph Curry goes down, Chris Paul just probably doesn't get injured in the regular season because he's not playing 35 minutes a night, table setting for the whole night. Like, he's just coming on screens, dropping the ball off, handoffs and things like that. I think he can sustain this offense. I don't think Clay is going to be as bad as he was in the playoffs. I think Clay is going to, even if he's not all-star Clay, if he's just regular 20-point per game Clay, even if he's 18, Wiggins like 18, I think they're going to be fine enough to, like, still generate wins. But they still have one of the best starting lineups in the league.
Yeah, so for everything that you got, like I already said the Warriors piece.
Yeah. Okay. So at the 4th seed, that's why I have the Timberwolves. I have the Timberwolves at the 4th seed, making a big jump up from last season to being in the play-in. I believe in this roster. It's one of the deepest. It's one of the deepest rosters.
No. I'm thinking myself.
Okay. It's one of the deepest rosters in the NBA. I think Chris Finch is going to be coach of the year, like I said earlier. I think Anthony Edwards is going to take a jump, not top 10 in the NBA jump, but he'll be a much better, I think, scorer, and possibly he can lock in on defense. I don't think his playmaking is going to improve much, but I think Cat's going to be back. I'll talk about this enough. I'll talk about the Timberwolves enough so far this year, so I'm not going to say much on them. Y'all will see. The Timberwolves going to be a top 4 seed.
I got to say, for the same reason, like I said earlier, I think they have one of the deepest rosters in the league. They have a roster that can basically run through regular season wins. There's not a lot of starting lineups in the West or in the league in general that have Mike Conley, Jamie Daniels, Anthony Edwards, Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert as a collective. I don't think there's a lot of starting lineups that are better than like that starting lineup. Like there's probably definitively 3 or 4, but not much more than that. And on the bench between Kyle Anderson, Nas Reed, Alexander Walker, and Shake Milton. I think they have enough benches to come in and fill in partners. Like say a Conley goes down for a few, or Jaden McDaniel go down for a few. Anthony Edwards misses a game or two. They have a player to jump in and fill in so 220, 223, 24 points against scorers. I think they can score enough and they should have enough defensively that they can get stops and they can win close games. Especially if you think Anthony Edwards is going to make the leap that you think he is, they should be able to run the wins and we'll see. Especially like with injuries, how injuries work. I don't think they're an injury concern. Cat went down, but this is the first I've really seen Cat miss time. Anthony Edwards is a workhorse. I think they should basically run through the wins, probably win like 50 games. It'll be a surprise. That's probably enough to get the 4th seed, especially in a packed West.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing for the same reasons. I mean, if Cat, I mean, obviously they were struggling last year with both Cat and Rudy on the floor, and we have yet to see them on the floor together for extended periods of time, be able to defend at a high level. So, but I mean, obviously, if you just look at everybody else in the team defensively, this is a great defensive unit. This is a great, talented roster altogether. So, you know, as long as Cat can stay healthy, and we're all expect. I think everybody in the NBA community is expecting Anthony Edwards to take another leap. So, with those factors in play, I think they max out as a 4th seed. I didn't see the vision at first, but after talking to Latif and all y'all, and just really going back and watching some of the Timberwolves, especially towards the end of last year, when Cat came back, I just think it's a not a no-brainer, but I think they're really being slept on.
At number 3, I'm gonna go through the last 3. I think everybody can consensus. We don't gotta talk about the top 3 too much. Number 3, I got the Suns. At number 2, I have the Lakers, and at number 1, I have the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets repeat as the best team in the West again.
Yeah, I think that's everybody's top 3. The Nuggets with Mike Malone and Jokic, outside of that 6th seed year when everybody was injured, they basically generated a top 4 wins. Like they win a lot of games, especially regular season games. Even if you thought they were a regular season team, like they're gonna win a lot of games in the regular season just based off who they have and Jokic being the best player. Like they should do what they want to do. Like it's not gonna be anything that we seen them win a chip. We seen them dismantle teams. So it's pretty much gonna be the same thing. They don't have the great amount of depth, but they don't need it. Just off the backs of Jokic and Jamal Murray, if he's healthy, stays healthy the whole season, and he takes a leap. Everybody thinks playoff things to translate to the regular season. We haven't seen it. Jamal Murray's not really known to be an all-star type guy in the regular season, but I mean, getting all the love, getting all the hype between him, Michael Porter Jr., and KCP. I think that Aaron Gordon, that starting lineup, also is one of the best starting lineups in the league. So he should be able to run through this also.
Yeah, I mean, I think the top 3 is obviously self-explanatory. When you look at obviously Denver, I think I'm one of the people that obviously you lose key pieces in Bruce Brown, you lose another key piece in Jeff Green. I mean, but I like some of the depth that they have. I mean, we talked about Peyton Watson last episode, and although he isn't a great shooter, I think he's also, and Julian Strother is also there now. He showed a lot of growth, not even a lot of growth. He just showed a lot of promise in the preseason as well. So I mean, they have some really good plug-in young players that can really come into their system that they have over there. It really, I feel like, what's the word? Not explode, but they can really bloom around Jokic and Jamal Murray and them. So, and then obviously, I just feel like the Lakers' ceiling, obviously, as everybody agrees, I think we'll say is a championship team. I know we talked in the group chat about, people discounting the Lakers and their depth, and I really think that people are to an extent. Now, when you look at this team top to bottom, they're really a good 11 deep. You have essentially starting lineup. They're starting tomorrow with D'Lo, Austin Reeves, LeBron, Torian Prince, and AD. Then you have Gabe Vincent, Max Christie, Rui, Bando, and Christian Wood. And then not to mention Jackson Hayes, Cam Reddish, Phil Shafino. I mean, those 3 players probably won't play as much. I think Hayes is probably like the only one that will probably get real burn out of those latter 2. I mean, those latter 3. But I mean, when you just look at the system in place, you look at Anthony Davis and being able to now pair him with another big that can stretch the floor. I just think that they're too dangerous, especially come playoff time when your eyes are all on LeBron James and Anthony Davis. and Austin Reeves. I mean, now if D'Lo's playing bad, you can plug in a Gabe Vincent, who we've seen prove it in the postseason. Come up and step big and be a point of attack defender at the guard position as well. Just things that obviously Dennis Schroeder was that last year, but he was never in a 3-point making threat. As a playmaker, I won't even say as a playmaker, but it's just in transition, just being able to hit the 3 ball, especially playing with LeBron James, is huge. And just in general, when you just look at that team top to bottom, I think that they can come out the West this year. I personally think it will be the Lakers versus Celtics in the finals. That's just me. But and then obviously the Suns. The only reason that they're not, above the Lakers is just because of health concerns, and the depth just isn't as good as the Lakers if one of their big three falls down. So, yeah, and I mean obviously, like I said, the top three for me, and I think for all of us, is really self-explanatory. And it's really gonna be great to see everybody, all three of those teams play tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the Lakers, they based off how the last season ended, they ended last season basically with a top 4 roster in the NBA. I know that's not how you're supposed to, quantify that based on how they ended, like, where they ended, like, how they lost. But this was a top 4 team at the end of the season. And all they did was get better at spots of need. They got another shooter at point guard. They got another 2 wings. Vando's still there. He's still a defensive piece. Like, he's still gonna be there. Christian Wood, he ain't defensive, but Christian Wood, especially if he's on the floor with Anthony Davis and LeBron, he should whatever
Christian
he lost.
Wood is a roamer. I think personally. I mean, I've seen Christian Wood in Dallas last year. I believe, it was like a block and a half per game, even as the main big there. But
He's gonna look
as
better.
a roamer next to Anthony Davis, he's gonna look so much better.
Exactly. He's gonna look better just because he's with Anthony Davis. Like, and say he doesn't. Whatever like you giving up, he can get you back on offense, especially a catch and shoot big. Like, he somewhere in the wing. You've seen a couple plays in preseason when they running AD Wood action and stuff like that. He's catching on the wing. He can shoot the 3. We know he can make that. He imposes will offensively. Like, it's not like hard for him to get involved offensively. We need that anyway. And the roster is built like if AD goes down for a little bit and LeBron's still there, they can win games. If LeBron goes down for a little bit, there's a lot of wings on a team that can take his spot, so we can still win games. Like, and especially with Reeves on the roster, if he takes another a sizable amount of leap, he takes on more of a scoring role, but still stays in the flow of the offense and things like that. This team is just like, they have a lot of possibilities. I think we see the Nuggets again. It'd be a different matchup. I know they swept us, but and I know you don't want people don't want to. Oh, they only lost by they still got swept. But I mean, the swept wasn't like every game they got beat by 20.
Each game, if you add up the totals for each game, I believe like the deficit is like 9 points or something. It's really slim. Each game came down to the final position. I mean, I think did they get blown? They didn't get blown out in the game 4, but they lost by like 10. So that might have been a lie, but it was a close deficit.
4-point loss. There was like a 4-point loss, a 5-point loss. Like, it's those are the margins. Those are the margins that they just got better in. Like, we're talking about like 2 more threes going in from a better shooter. Like, instead of Vando being on the floor, you got Tony and or Rui, somebody that can actually make the 3. Like, it's just the little margins that the Lakers just got better in. And then again, you're just relying on the health. LeBron and AD, if they can get to the 65 games, that's cool. They probably try to find a way to low manage in games. Like, if they go up huge on the team, just sit them down at the middle of the end of the third, and that's how they'll low manage to keep their minutes down. They can play like 30 minutes a game between them 2. They should be fine. Ride the back of the rest of the roster and let them go out there and just win the games, take it home for them. You get time to other players, because this team is legitimately, for a fact, we're 9 deep, but we could definitely go 12. Not all 12 ain't playing in a playoff game, but like in the regular season, definitely play 12 players and get positive minutes from almost everybody on the roster. So I don't think I think it's like a Lakers hate more than like actually understanding what this team did post trade deadline.
Yeah.
This team probably been a top 5 team in the league.
Yeah, it's Laker tax. I wouldn't even say it's Laker hate. It's Laker tax. But I mean, like you saying, they really just improved around the edges. I mean, yeah, we're talking about how close the margins was in that series versus Denver, and just how times that they would go up and Denver would want to run, and they just didn't have any pieces to respond. Like, Schroeder was off, D'Lo was off, and now it's like you plug in Torian Prince, a 3-point shooter, and a 3-and-D wing. You plug in Gabe Vincent, also a kind of a 3-and-D guard, you could say. Max Christie is going to improve this year. Christian Wood again. I hate to keep harping on it, but I really think the Lakers are a good team, and I hope that they play the Suns in the playoffs so you can see LeBron versus KD. But and then I just think when you try to compare the two, obviously the Lakers and the Nuggets is the series we all want to see again. We want to see that rematch, but I think the Lakers and Suns series can also be good, just to really just show that the Suns, in my opinion, I think they really need rim protection. I think the final thing that the Suns are missing is rim protection. They don't really have any rim protecting big men. In a series, especially in the playoffs, when you're playing Anthony Davis or you have to run into Jokic, I think, or obviously LeBron James, who lives at the rim at this point in his career, you're gonna need some type of reinforcements at big man that can help you protect the rim. I mean, I'm assuming that there's gonna be times where the Suns go small. I mean, I would hope. I mean, that's probably their only hope is to go small and have KD at the 5. You're putting KD on Jokic and AD and LeBron, and I think it can be really bad for Phoenix in the postseason just simply because of that.
I think they have to. I think they have to try and go out and get like a Clint Capella or Rob Will.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the like. I don't know what's the market and how much they're gonna cost. I know Nurkic probably ends up in that deal somehow, probably shipped somewhere else. Like the compensation for that in terms of draft picks is Clint Capella and Rob Will worth a first round pick. I don't know. I know
they don't have any draft capital though.
Now they have 2 seconds to use, but do you want to use those 2 seconds and Nurkic or a filler just to go get Clint Capella or Rob Will? Like, do you want to do that? If you go, Clint Capella's cool. Like I'd be on board for Clint Capella, but I just don't know if they can go get him or somebody else. Like if Dallas wants to go get him, they probably could offer him a little bit more than what the Suns can offer him. They're just gonna get outbid for the players that they want. They might just have to end up signing, Dwight Howard, who isn't Dwight Howard at all, but like the job between 2020 Dwight Howard and Dwight Howard now, I don't think it's that much. Like, but he still won't play like 30 minutes a game. He'll probably only be able to throw him on the court for 10 minutes against a Jokic and or AD. It's not going to look pretty, but you need some type of size down there. I think they're pretty thin after Nurkic, and if he goes down, they're toast.
Y'all done? Jesus. Yeah. Anyways, all right, last segment here. We got contenders and pretenders. I'm gonna name 5 teams, 5 NBA teams, and y'all tell me if they're contender or pretender. So the first team up, let me find this list. First team up is gonna be the Philadelphia 76ers.
Pretender in my book.
It's pretenders, but it's not pretenders because whatever. I just don't think they have enough talent to compete with it. Like, the other 2 big dogs in their conference and the other 3 big dogs in the other conference. Like, I think they're always going to be the odd man out. I think there's comfortably 5 teams in the league better than them right now today. I just not the future the chip. Like, you're hoping on different chips to fall in different places for them to, really make a real run.
The Philadelphia 76ers are pretenders. They will never make it past the second round with Joel Embiid being there and his playoff performance. They're contender. I mean, they're a pretender. I don't know. That's it. I'm not going to say that Joel Embiid is going to go in this crazy playoff run. 1, he can't stay healthy. 2, all the stuff around James Harden. No, they're a pretender. The Cavaliers.
Pretenders. Yeah, they don't got enough. I just don't think they got enough. Like, they're just not there yet.
I agree. Yeah, basically, they're not there yet. Evan Mobley, we're hoping he can develop into a player where they are one day contenders. But I mean, if we're being honest, any team that you name in the Eastern Conference, not name either of those 2 teams, are pretenders because they're gonna have to face off against one of them. So, you could name any East team. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm gonna say pretenders if they're not the Celtics or the Bucks. The East goes through those 2 teams. I can't ask for the fact. Well, let me not say that, but yeah.
The next team is the Timberwolves.
They're gonna be a top 4 seed, but they're still pretenders. Like, outside of once they get to the playoff setting, I think there's definitely 3 teams that will beat them in the playoff series. And if the Warriors see them in the first round, because I have them as 4 or 5, I think the Warriors will beat the Timberwolves. So they're looking at a first round exit regardless. So first round exits are pretenders.
I agree. I was gonna say the same exact thing. If they're 4 and they get the Warriors at 5, they're losing. So, and I personally, you know what, I'm not even gonna say it, but go ahead with the next team.
So you say they're a pretender?
Yes, the Timberwolves are a pretender.
I think Timberwolves are a pretender too. I don't think they're gonna have enough in the playoffs to compete. Cat is a playoff dropper. Rudy Gobert has shown the ability to get play off the floor in the playoffs. And I don't know if Anthony Edwards is at the stage in his career where he can be the number one option on a team that goes like the West Conference Finals. I don't know if he's there yet. Now, next team, we are. Let me see. Next team is the Warriors.
That's why I was hoping that you. That's why I didn't say what I was about to say. I think the Warriors are contenders, especially in the postseason. From what we've seen, obviously in the last 2 years, 2 back-to-back postseason. I wouldn't even call it deep postseason run last year, but the second round, obviously, in my opinion, if you make the second round, depending on the circumstances, you are not a pretender. You are a contender. And obviously, the Warriors' success the last 2 years, they have presented themselves as contenders year in, year out, no matter what the circumstances are in the last 2 years. Obviously, winning the championship in 2022, the team is not the same all the way, but I mean, there's a lot of the same pieces there. You plug in Kuminga again, who also is looking like he's about to have a breakout year. Hopefully, Wiggins is healthy and he's playing most of the year like he has in years past, other than last year. And then I'm not a fan of the Chris Paul move, but offensively, I think defensively in the postseason, they'll have some issues that they'll have to work through during the regular season. But altogether, I think they're still contenders. When you still have Stephen Curry on your team, the top 3 player in the league, and you have the floor spacing around him, you have the playmaking around him. Now with Chris Paul, you can have Steph move off the ball and have somebody else create for him instead of him creating a lot of the opportunities for other people like we saw last year. I think this offense can take an even further step. The number one question is just defense. Like if they can make any moves prior to the deadline or at the deadline, that that can help bring some defensive reinforcements that also not hinder them on the offensive side of the basketball. I think that this can be a really scary team for teams to see in the offseason. The postseason. I don't think a lot of teams want to see the Warriors in the playoffs, including the 3 teams that we just named. But yeah, go ahead. You about to say they're pretenders, ain't you?
Yes, you were just a whole lot of yapping, Jordan. The Warriors are pretenders. This team is a second round ceiling team. The West has got better since their championship run. If they face the Nuggets in the second round, they're going to lose. If they face the Lakers in the second round, they're going to lose. If they face the Suns in the second round, they are going to lose. The Suns is I don't know, but would they not have to see one of them 2 teams? Like one of them, they would have to see like the Lakers. I mean the Nuggets or the.
I get it. I understand that.
Yeah, I'm not picking them against none of them teams. They're gonna lose.
I still think they're contenders because they have Steph Curry, and the Lakers they didn't like they killed the Warriors, but like that's because the play design, like they blitzed Steph Curry, like he was on ball the whole time, and they really just blitzed him like every chance they got. You know what I'm saying? You can't really. I don't think they're gonna be able to blitz him because he's not gonna be on ball that much. It's harder to guard Steph Curry coming off screens and pin downs, especially if Chris Paul's handling the ball. Like what are you gonna do? Like Clay is not a bum. Like he's not a bum. Like you got Clay and Steph Curry coming off 2 screens on opposite end. You're always gonna. It's an either or. You're gonna get killed either way. Like I think their offense and Steph Curry being who he is in the playoff setting, you just don't want to see him. Like if they get to the second round, they just need one thing to fall in their favor. Couple things shake up, they can end up in the Western Conference Finals. It's Steph Curry talking.
Who are they beating? Are they gonna beat the Nuggets? No, they're not beating the Nuggets. Because who is stopping Jokic? I don't think Draymond's gonna be able to do it. Honestly,
nobody's stopping.
They're not stopping. Nobody's stopping Jokic. Nobody's stopping Jokic.
I didn't say that.
Who was guarding Jamal Murray? Who is guarding Jamal Murray?
You can throw Wiggins on Jamal Murray.
And then once you throw Wiggins on him, you're gonna Michael Porter. Michael Porter Jr. is 6'10" with Chris Paul.
Hold on, you're saying that like Michael Porter Jr. is about to sit there and put the ball on the floor He's
no, he would shoot over them, and then it's not even as simple. It's not as simple as it's not as simple as putting Wiggins on Jamal Murray, because you can.
I never said that.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying
we're talking about a plus defender who's 6'8" and long. That we just got to go out there and bother him and just make him inefficient. If we could get him inefficient,
I don't think
it's not happening. I don't think it's happening.
No. It's not happening.
Get it? Jamal Murray in the playoffs, he's just
Wiggins was getting Wiggins. I saw Wiggins get torched by Austin Reeves. If you're telling me that Jamal Murray can't do that,
it did happen.
The Wiggins fresh back on the court after being out. Like after being
a whole series after he came back, he had a whole 7-game series to get his rust off. I don't want to hear that now.
But now you're giving him a whole season. You're giving him a whole season to get the legs in.
I agree, though. I agree. I've already stated at this point. I agree that Wiggins will be better this year, obviously, than he was last year.
Do you think they can beat the Nuggets?
No.
What about the Lakers? What about the Lakers?
They can beat the Nuggets.
You say I never
said beat the Nuggets.
Like I just never said that.
So the only thing you think you haven't beaten in a series is
go their way. They can beat them. Like if I'm not wishing for me, but if Jamal go down, okay, they got the series. Like
no, I don't. The Warriors just don't have the defensive personnel to not even just Jokic. I just think all around they just don't have the defensive personnel to really keep up with them. The Nuggets will probably score like 110 points a game for the Warriors.
Yeah, I agree with that. They don't have. They can't beat the Lakers because Lakers can slow them down offensively.
Yeah, they couldn't beat the mini Lakers. They showed can't beat these Lakers, and they can't beat the
Nuggets.
They couldn't beat.
So y'all talking about the beat? The only thing y'all really on the fence about is the Suns, which I understand that they're very top heavy. They also can't guard anybody either. So y'all must be talking about the Suns because I have the Nuggets and Lakers. You talking about the Contenders? They're not making it out of the second round. They got to see one of the Suns, Lakers, or Nuggets.
I mean, it depends. Like, given the matchup, I mean, I think the Warriors and Suns could potentially go 7. I think
that's what I said. That's what I said.
There would be no defense played in that series. That's why I think it could go. It could go 6 or 7. I'm gonna side with the Suns, but I feel like
I'm also siding with the Suns.
To that brink, if you can push somebody to that brink, yeah, the Contenders.
The Suns went 6 to the Nuggets last year without Bradley Beal.
If Steph would go for a 50 ball in a game 7 versus Suns and they beat them.
Kevin Durant at an all-star level like that, and that's bad. Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant playing at an all-star level is a bad Kevin Durant. Imagine if he goes into that series playing regular playoff Kevin Durant basketball. Like that's 7.
I feel like if it's a team where you have 3 clear teams that you would take a bet on to beat them, they're not a contender. I feel like personally, I just don't feel like that.
3 clear teams though, but it's 2.
That's fair. That's fair what you're saying though. I get what you're saying.
You're better. Who would you bet on in the 7-game series, the Suns or the Warriors?
I wouldn't a bet like that. I wouldn't use smart bet tactics. I'd use straight biased picks for that series, and I'm gonna go with Kevin Durant. But that's just a biased pick. I'd have to do a lot of legwork to really understand that series.
You don't even have to do all that. You don't even have to do all that. You know that you're picking the Suns at the end of the day. You tell me if I wasn't doing my research and I really started thinking about it, I'm probably you gonna pick the Suns. I'm a
Kevin Durant guy. I guess everybody's a deep. And I'm a Bradley Beal guy. I gotta go with them. Like I just gotta ride with this. Bradley Beal 30 points a game by himself. He about to be a third option. There's no third best defender in the league that's holding Bradley Beal. I don't see it. Like I just don't see it. Whoever you throwing out against Bradley Beal, he's gonna give 22 points a game to, like easily. Just like food.
Yeah.
All right. Last team is the Clippers.
I think the Contenders. It's all based on health. I think healthy Clippers could beat anybody except for the Nuggets.
Healthy Clippers can beat anybody?
Not in the Lakers. Everybody else, I think healthy Clippers beat them.
I don't think the healthy Clippers can beat the Suns as constructed. I don't.
The injured Clippers was given.
Obviously last year if they were healthy, they would have beat the Suns. But I mean, Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, like it's just different now. The depth is much better this year. I just don't. The Clippers don't have the depth I'm not saying the Suns have depth, but I'm just not really a believer in, again, if they get Harden, this is a completely different conversation. If they get Harden, in all four, or let me not say four, if they get Harden and you plug him in um, with Kawhi and PG and some of the other pieces, but if you get Harden, you also have to trade your depth. See, no, I just personally, I don't really see. Actually, now that I think about it, there's no scenario I think the Clippers are contenders.
The Clippers are dumb. They're holding on to Terrence Mann like he's the future of the team. Terrence Mann is 27 years old. He's not going to get much better than what he is right now. He's not just going to suddenly be a 20-point per game scorer. Like he's the most he could get to. He averaged 9 points per game. The most he probably going to get to ever probably be like 15-ish. And that's if like PG and Kawhi go down.
Happening on this team. That's not happening on this team.
Like who was Terrence Mann is like on any other team, he's probably like a 6-man, 7-man. He was a 6-man, 7-man on the Clippers. Like I don't know what they hold on to Terrence Mann for. He's not worth that much. He second round pick. Like he's been the same ever since he's been in the league. It's a waste of time. Whatever you got Terrence Mann, you got Norman Powell. He's whatever you lose on defense. Norman Powell is scorching people. Bro was giving that people 40 buckets. Like I don't stop holding on to Terrence Mann. Give that up. Get that first pick up. Get James Harden.
But that's what I'm saying though. If you trade, hold on, see my fault. If you trade, who is it? Terrence Mann. I'm assuming it's gonna be Marcus Morris and Norman Powell in the first round pick. That's a lot for James Harden right now. I'm not gonna lie.
They're not even asking for that much. The Sixers really just want Terrence Mann. They really just want Terrence Mann in the deal. But
I'm saying the money's gonna have to add up. It would be Marcus Morris, Terrence Mann, and I believe it would have to be somebody else.
It'd probably be
Harden's on 35.
It'd probably be Norman.
It'd be Norman Powell. All three, like I just said.
Nah, I think they probably give one of those wings. Like they either give a Batum or Robert Covington, like with Terrence Mann. Like if it was me, I'd give a Norman. It'd be Norman, Rocco, first round pick.
I don't think that's enough. But hey, it's James. We're talking about James Harden.
They're not gonna try and fleece. The Sixers can't try to fleece nobody. They know James Harden don't want to be there. Take what you could get and try to flip it.
What I'm saying though, I think the final domino is Terrence Mann. I think that Marcus Morris is the contract that they're trying to offload. You're gonna have to take Norman Powell. I mean, that's Norman Powell. I think is already the automatic. I think Norman. I think that all I'm saying is in either scenario, even if you get Harden on your team, you're trading on your depth away from Harden. You don't get Harden, you rock it out with this squad. They still just don't have enough. I think they're just on a weird spot. They're kind of in a abyss. There's not really much they can do. And I know PG, I believe Kawhi is in his last year, or he has a player option after this year. So it's a really important year for them. But I don't know. They're pretenders about it.
The Clippers are pretenders. We're not going to just keep ignoring their health. And even when they were healthy, they blew a 3-1 lead in the bubble. So, I mean, they have never showed me anything outside of that one run to the conference finals. They're contenders. The West is even better, and I wouldn't pick them against, like I said, the Lakers or the Nuggets, maybe the Suns, because they were competing with them last year, but now they have Bradley Beal. So, like I said, and honestly a better bench. So, probably wouldn't pick them over the Suns either. So, yeah, that is the last topic for our season predictions episode. The NBA is back tomorrow. This will be up before the game starts. So if you're watching this, make sure you guys follow our social medias, like the video, comment, share the video so our channel can grow. Thank you for always tuning in. Though we trying to hit 500 subscribers for the end of the year. Man, we've been kind of stagnant, but I want to keep growing. We gotta look at some ways to keep going, keep growing. But that's gonna do it. This is a pretty long episode for our standards, about to hit 2 hours, but I'm glad we got the content out. So thank you guys for watching.